you talk about coming across content that was discussing high-valued man. And the content was supposed to be about building your confidence and how to become a high-valued man. It soon turned dark.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily, where we call out feminist foolishness, expose women's hypocrisy, dismantle double standards, and stand up for men. Today, we're going back to the Tamron Hall show. And trust me, I was waiting for this because at this point, the Manosphere can no longer be denied. It's too big, it's too loud, it's too real. And that's exactly why the mainstream media has kicked off a massive smear campaign. They can't beat the truth, so now they have to label it as hate. They can't argue the facts, so now they have to twist the narrative. We're gonna break it all down today, piece by piece, and show you exactly why the mainstream is terrified of the Manosphere. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many, we many.
Adolescence is the third most watched Netflix series ever, more than 124 million viewers and counting. And it's ignited this new conversation about online misogyny and its impact on young men and inspiring new action. Take a look.
Dad, you're not reading what they're doing. It's a call to action by the Manosphere. 80% of women are attracted to 20% of men. You must trick them because you'll never get them in a normal way.
Scenes like this in Netflix Adolescence are spotlighting the dangers of the Manosphere going mainstream. According to the anti-hate organization, the Anti-Defamation League, the Manosphere is an online network aimed at men and boys, often promoting harmful, rigid expectations of men, extreme misogyny, and aggressive incel culture.
Here we go, fellas. This is the mainstream media's definition of the Manosphere. Now, as men's advocates and a channel that represents the Manosphere, here's what I want you to do. Go to our YouTube channel, hit the popular tab, and pick any 5 videos at random. Watch them. Then, objectively ask yourself, does our channel resonate with promoting harmful, rigid expectations of men, extreme misogyny, and aggressive incel culture? I'm telling you, it's almost impossible to make that argument in good faith. You see, you can't put the Manosphere in a box. The mainstream media's definition is lazy, one-sided, and intellectually dishonest. Instead of actually asking why so many men are gathering in these spaces to share their grievances, they just slap the label hate group on it and move on.
Incels are men who identify as, quote, involuntary celibate and blame female empowerment for their lack of sexual experience, and as a result, boost hatred and sometimes even violence against women. One of the most significant core beliefs of the incel movement is red pilling, a slang term from the movie The Matrix, meaning one has accepted a counter and often fringe set of beliefs. At just 12 years old, Brian Campbell found himself becoming red-pilled in the Manosphere while innocently thinking he was just following influencers promoting self-development.
In 2020, social media and video games were my only form of interaction. All I see is these other men on TikTok telling me this is how I should be. And then my friends also believe this as well. So it seemed like the only right path for me at the time.
You see, he's watching TikTok. He's watching short-form videos designed to grab your attention instantly, to shock you, to go viral. And of course, the people who scream the wildest, most extreme things are the ones who blow up. Now, those loud voices, the loudest 1%, are being treated like they represent the entire Manosphere. It's just like what happened with hip-hop. The mainstream media took gangsta rap, the most violent, sensational part of hip-hop, and made it the face of the entire culture. They ignored the storytellers. They ignored the lyricists. They ignored the conscious artists. Why? Because gangsta rap was louder. It was shocking. It sold more drama. And now they're doing the exact same thing to the Manosphere. And let's talk about how they're disrespecting people when they throw around the word incel. They act like it's just angry men, but that's not the full picture. There are men with disabilities, men with illnesses, men who are socially isolated, who never chose that life. It used to be called true forced loneliness, not some hate group label. But now, if you're struggling, they just shove you into a box and call you dangerous. They blame female empowerment for men's lack of experiences and twist it into propaganda to paint all lonely men as threats. It's dishonest, it's disrespectful, and it's designed to shut down real conversations about male loneliness.
As more boys like Brian who were lured into the Manosphere come forward, there's a new urgency and understanding of the serious conversations that parents need to be having with their boys today.
As somebody who is literally a father to a young 4-year-old boy, like, I gotta remind myself to be present and have active conversations with my son.
Our parents did not have to have concerns around the internet, social media, and other external influences that were outside of their control.
I gotta tell you, it just makes me want to burst into tears. When I was reading that script for that, even now, it just makes me so sad for boys. But you feel that this is the moment, this is the time that we are supposed to be having this conversation.
It is.
And you're relieved that this is happening.
Tamron, stop it. You need to keep that same energy for boys and men when you have women coming on your show promoting this kind of stuff.
We're getting into it. Our first guests have been outspoken on this topic. If you search feminine energy on social media, their videos are among the first you will see, showing us how to express our feminine energy through our style and the way we communicate. They also share what they say are tips on how to inspire men to treat you like a princess.
It's not wrong to want to be treated like a princess in a relationship. You're not asking too much.
You truly believe that you should be spoiled, that men should just spoil the ground that you walk on and worship you.
You simply say thank you because it's the server's job to bring you the food. Your man is the server in this analogy. When he gives you princess treatment, he's just playing the role that you both agreed to.
And like, it's not like you're losing your independence, because I'm never saying like you should lose your independence. Keep your own money, but let him provide. And your money is your money. And he is providing for you, but your money is your money.
Aha! When women go online and talk about how they're going to manipulate men into worshiping them, that's not called toxic femininity now, is it? It's not called extreme misandry. It's not called promoting harmful, rigid expectations for women. No, it's applauded. It gets spun as empowerment. Where's the outrage then? You don't feel bad when your son becomes a victim of this manipulation? You don't, because you're raising your sons to be simp jutsu masters. You're teaching them that their entire value comes from serving women, to be disposable, to waste their lives thinking that being a man means being a doormat. You can't preach equality and then celebrate manipulation. You can't cry about toxicity and then promote it just because it comes wrapped in a pretty package. That's not empowerment, that's brainwashing.
Yeah, in 2020, social media and video games were my only form of interaction. And that led me down this path of misogyny and a lot of other problematic ideas that gladly my brother pulled me out of. But at the time, it was my whole world.
Now at 16, Brian is opening up about his journey. He joins our conversation. Welcome to the show, Brian. And Bond is still with us. Before the break, Bond was talking about adolescence, and he said, listen, that was a show, but it could have been a documentary. If it were a documentary, your story would fall in line. You talk about coming across content that was discussing high-valued man, and the content was supposed to be about building your confidence and how to become a high-valued man. It soon turned dark. What content started to come into your feed?
Yeah, so for me, it went from like, be a high-value man. That's never negative, Right. Speak to your peers, like, be a leader, be nice, be understanding. Things like Mr. Wilson was saying. But it turned into, like, women need to be controlled and, like homophobia, racism, like a bunch of other ideas that all came in this package. But it all stemmed from this, in a sense, positive idea of just being a high-value man and being understanding.
You see? They're very clever with their wording. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, took the term high-value man to the next level. And what it really did was expose an important truth about female nature, hypergamy. That's why women kept calling into Kevin's show, because they wanted a high-value man. But here's the part they didn't like. Most of the women calling in were not the type of women that high-value men were actually looking for. Kevin didn't sugarcoat it. He told them the truth, and that truth hurt. A lot of women got mad because they don't want to live up to men's standards. They want the benefits without meeting the requirements. And this is why context matters. When we talk about control in the context of dealing with women, it's not about abuse or oppression. It's about setting standards, protecting your energy, and not letting disrespect slide. Control means self-control first, knowing your worth as a man and not bending over backward for bad behavior. But the mainstream will twist that message to make it sound dark or dangerous, just like they're doing right now. Same thing goes for homophobia. We made a video about losing your man card using Tom Holland as an example, and we had men in the comments accusing us of promoting homophobia, which is absolutely false. When we talk about masculinity, being gay or participating in gay activities has never been considered masculine by the traditional definition. Understand the definition of masculinity. We're not saying you're not a biological man. We're saying you are not aligning with the traditional traits of masculinity: strength, stoicism, leadership, dominance. It's like this. You can be a chef, but if you don't cook, you're not acting like a chef. You can be on a football team, but if you refuse to play football, you're not playing the game. Same thing here. Being a man is your biology. Masculinity is your behavior, your mindset, your actions. Respect who you are, but don't redefine words to protect feelings. Definitions exist for a reason.
How do you explain what they got right in this family to catch this?
The key thing that Brian is saying, relationships are where it's at. Particularly in the online space, we have to talk to our kids regularly about the content they're consuming. We cannot control all of it. Don't even try. It's a fool's errand. Yeah. What we can do is we can have an honest conversation where we listen to each other and we have frank discussions about it. You know, I think that everybody here have kids. You've had to have like the sex talk. Yeah. Not comfortable, right? You've had to have the talk about drugs. You have to regularly have that same talk about your experiences on the internet.
Wow.
You see, this entire show, they didn't hold single mothers accountable at all for the impact they have on their sons, especially black boys. We've called out the poor reading rates before. And guess what? The first education doesn't start at school. It starts at home. And in today's society, mothers have the biggest influence on their kids. But are we going to talk about that? Of course not, because holding mama accountable is bad for ratings. Instead, they just blame men again. Not the men these women kicked out of their sons' lives, but the men online telling young guys to protect themselves, to be aware, to be strong. If you want real change, fix the damn laws. Stop giving automatic custody to incapable mothers who are ruining these boys' futures. But mainstream media? Yeah, they're not gonna touch that conversation because it's easier to just blame men, sell outrage, and keep the cycle going.
Manosphere, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.